The trailer was released for Edgar Wright's newest film, Last Night in Soho. It follows a young contemporary fashion designer as she's allowed to enter 1960s London and is enamored by her idol, who is a wannabe singer, but the world she's passed into isn't all what it seems to be. Darius, you and I actually saw this trailer together when we were going to watch A Quiet Place Part 2. And I remember, I saw this trailer before we saw it all together. And once I knew, what the trailer was, I'm like, oh, shit, I want to see what everyone thinks about this. This is going to be sick. I can't wait. Now, we never really talked about it outside the movie, as far as I remember. How do you think this looks?
If it's Edgar Wright, I'm down.
Yep.
If it's some sort of psychological thriller, I'm even more down.
Same.
This movie I love the visuals of it. I love how stylized it looks and feels. And I love that it's sort of a psychological thriller. And I really like Edgar Wright. I really like Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
He's terrific.
And he's an amazing director. He has a very unique voice as a director, and you can tell in his movies, you can tell the similarities, you can tell the differences.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this movie is just, I don't know why, but even seeing it in the theater, I had even more chills compared to watching it at home on my phone. And
Absolutely.
I'm thoroughly very excited to see this movie now.
And again, building off of what you were saying about Edgar Wright, again, this is the same guy who directed Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, terrific movie. He also did Baby Driver, he did Shaun of the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a talented filmmaker, to say the least. And building off what you were saying as far as how he can pick out the similarities and differences between each of his films, this movie seems very different than what we're used to from him. Because even though he's tackled a different bunch of genres, like you have Shaun of the Dead, which is a horror comedy, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, which is like an action comedy. Same with Baby Driver. Even though Baby Driver is, I don't know if it's strictly a comedy, but definitely feels more comedic than dramatic, to say the least. This is a dramatic horror thriller. This has a strictly dramatic edge to it. And I'm just with the feels and the chills that I got watching this, I'm pumped. I'm really pumped. Given that this is Edgar Wright, who I said is a very talented filmmaker, trying something different and seems to be pulling it off, I'm really looking forward to this. The film definitely has two very promising female leads. You have Thomasin McKenzie from Jojo Rabbit, gave a terrific performance in that film. And you also have Anya Taylor-Joy opposite her from The Witch and The Queen's Gambit, both of which are very well received as well. This also feels like a very, not only an original story, but it seems to be an original way of telling it. Again, this could all be speculation too. This is a trailer, but just the entire feeling that I got from watching this and really thinking about this doesn't feel like anything I've seen before, not only from him, but from really anyone, at least in a long time.
Yeah, like I said, this movie really intrigues, because as much as we can tell the differences of Edgar Wright, his style, his voice, like you said, Joe, this does not. It's almost a completely different side of his brain, and I'm thoroughly interested to see how this movie turns out. Because if you're making a psychological horror drama, I'm already in, because I like psychological stuff. I want to get into the nitty gritty of someone's mind to see how messed up they are.
I'm living vicariously through someone else. But yeah, no. Again, like we were saying, you see all these different parts, all these different moving parts that you wouldn't expect to see, and now they're coming together, and it just makes it that much more exciting. Again, the horror, psychological thriller end of things, that's intriguing. You have the fact that Edgar Wright, who's a filmmaker that I've been following for a while, obviously very talented. Now both of those are coming together. That's something I didn't see coming or wouldn't have seen coming. So I'm really, really excited, to say the least. This is one of many films, again, to get postponed because of COVID-19, and now is scheduled to be released this October, which is perfect, right in time for Halloween. I'm dying to see this one.
I am too, and I can't wait to see. I'm seeing this movie in theaters.
Same.
I don't care.
Oh, listen,
I'm seeing it in theaters.
Any movie that comes out, at this point, I'm looking to see in theaters. Actually, no, that's not entirely true. I'll at least think of seeing it in theaters, be like, is it worth going out? Can I watch this at home and really not feel like I'm missing much? Yeah, but this isn't going to be one of those. This is a must see in the theater for sure. This is a must see in theaters. And I think this is the kind of movie that you have to see with other people too.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because I have a feeling if you're gonna be with other people, I think it's even more interesting when you see it with friends or other people. Mainly because it's like, okay, this is a psychological thriller, horror drama, right?
Mm-hmm.
How are each of your friends individually going to interpret this film? And I think that's going to be another. And that's another great thing about these type of movies. It opens up discussion. It opens up character discussion, how we perceive certain elements of film and the themes that go on. And so, with that alone as well, makes me even more intrigued for us to talk about it on the podcast and going forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, what do you all think of the trailer for Last Night in Soho? Are you dying to see it like we are? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below.